session today by a safety moment presented by my colleague Abdulaziz Dirahem.
السلام عليكم جميعا، حياكم الله الضيوف. بس معلومات أساسية بسيطة عن السلامة في المبنى. طبعا في مخرجين طوارئ في المبنى بالاتجاه هذا، يعني في حال الخروج في الممر الجانبي هنا مخرجين الطوارئ يكون على الاتجاه الأيسر. طبعا ما نتوقع أي عمليات إخلاء اليوم، يعني تجريبية أو فرضيات إخلاء، لذلك في حال سمعتوا إخلاء أو صوت الإنذار يعني يرجى الإخلاء مباشرة، وبيكون فيه فريق الاستجابة السريع بيعاونكم ويوجهكم إن شاء الله، ونتمنى لكم إن شاء الله ورشة ثرية وغنية بالمعرفة. يعطيكم العافية.
يعطيك العافية أخوي عبد العزيز. Now I would like to invite my colleague Abdurrahman Al-Ghrair for the opening speech.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Good afternoon, everyone. Dear audience, I would like to welcome you all to this important gathering. Allow me first to thank our knowledge management team at SIDF for their continuous efforts to promote the exchange of knowledge and experiences within the industrial sector, between the stakeholders within the industrial sector, to enhance our industrial sector in the kingdom. My sincere thanks to our respected guests who have accepted our invitations and are here today to share their valuable knowledge with us. Today's workshop is on the series of knowledge sharing workshops being organized under the theme of November. Energy and environment. There are many topics that we can talk about under this main subject. We can talk for hours and discussion will never end, as the whole world now is shifting rapidly to clean energy, and we don't want to lag behind. However, with the continuous support from both government and the private sectors, we will be able to achieve the Kingdom's vision to have more energy sustainability and to reach the net zero carbon emissions by 2060. Today, we are going to have a wonderful event where we are going to discuss the sustainability of oil, as it is our major economic driver. Continuous support from SIDF and local content for alternative energy sector. Localization journey with nice success stories by the private sectors. Also, we will have a special guest from Japan who will be talking to us about a new technology called the Wind Hunter project. Once again, I would like to thank our distinguished speakers and guests who will enrich us today with their experiences and knowledge in this field. And with this, I convey my thanks to all of you and wishing everyone a productive and enjoyable day. Thank you.
Shukran Abdurrahman. Now I would like to invite my colleagues Ibrahim Al-Ghaslan and Abdullah Sbei to give an overview of SIDF products that supports the energy sector.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to give you an overview regarding SIDF products, and my colleague Ibrahim is going to zoom in to our financing and our support to the energy, specifically the renewable energy sectors. SIDF has been established 48 years ago, in 1974, with an aim for the enabling Saudi Arabia transformation to become an industrial powerhouse and global logistic hub. We are leaning to our most presented value, our reliability, developments, teamwork, enablement, and our client success is our success. In terms of our supported sectors, we are not only limited to the industrial. Starting from 2018-2019, SIDF being the financial enabler of SIDF program, now we are covering, in addition to the industry sector, the mining, logistics, as well as the energy our topic today. In terms of our funded project, we do support projects within Saudi Arabia. And we are not only providing the financial incentives, we are also providing an advisory services to our clients. And in terms of our training, we are not limited to training a SIDF employee. We do provide training to the whole ecosystem that we are supporting. SIDF has started in 1974 with a capital of 500 million Saudi riyal only. We have been developing with our industrial sectors. You can see in 2019 our capital increased by 40 billion Saudi riyal to reach 105 billion Saudi riyal to be able not only to serve, as I mentioned, the industry sector and to serve all the four sectors, including the energy. You can see here that our financing is not limited or specific to the main area only. Our financing is distributed around the kingdom. In order to lean on Vision 2030 pillars, specifically the digital transformation, we have launched our fully e-loan system with a one point of contact for each client. That actually helps us to reduce the loan approval and disbursement time. We have an integration with the whole ecosystem by having an collaboration with such as Ministry of Justice or Abshir for signing the loan or even for the mortgage purposes. And we have actually launched our land and loan platform with a partnership with the Spark Mudun. In terms of sector that we are actually covering, as I mentioned that this is the fourth sector that we are covering. Today's session actually we are going to focus on the energy sector where we are supporting the renewable energy component as well as the project itself. SIDF support is not limited to the initial phase only by providing the project finance loan. Nowadays we are actually with our client journey continue throughout the operation by providing a working capital financing, supply chain financing, multi-purpose financing, and growing with our client by providing an acquisition financing as well. We have launched 4 incentive packages, 4 spin-off program that we are focusing upon, providing more financial incentives to encourage our private sector. First of all is Mutajadeda, where my colleague Ibrahim is going to spend the time explaining the Mutajadeda program, our renewable energy program. Our Tawteen program is focused on localizing the supply chain of the big local company that we have. We have a partnership with SABIC, Aramco, SEC, STC, and Ma'aden as well. We are providing a more financial incentive to the local supply chain of the companies. We do support also the small and medium enterprises through having a partnership with incubator of industrial programs such as King Saud University Incubator and Prince Sultan ibn Abdulaziz Development Fund. We also have a partnership with Munshaat through a program called Ask an Expert. Finally, the Tanafusiyya program, the digitalization and energy efficiency, where we support our clients or local clients not to compete locally, but to compete even with the international players by providing an improvement of existing manufacturing throughout technology implementation, digitalization, and energy efficiency as well. This is a snapshot of a SIDF offering. This is the 4th sector that we are supporting. Our capital limit of loan can go up to 3 billion Saudi riyal per project. Our tenor can go up to 20 years of financing. Turnaround time, as I mentioned, we have been able to reduce it to 4 and 5 months. This is for project finance. However, for other projects such as working capital financing, it's much less time. Our financing can go up to 75%, depending on the location of the project and strategic nature of the project. As we mentioned, we have fully automated loan application process to reduce the time and to ease our client journey. Our pricing is fixed. There is no component involved in it. And as I mentioned, we are not only providing financial support, we are providing also an advisory service to our client. Now, we can move to my colleague Ibrahim, who can actually zoom into our renewable energy financing. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank all the guests for your attendance and for your participation. Secondly, I would like to thank my colleagues for the great presentation they have given. Now, I'm going to be very briefly discussing the Mutajadeda Program. First, I would like to share for the non-Arabic speaker what the word Mutajadeda means. Mutajadeda means renewable, and it's in the theme of the Renewable Energy Program. So as we move forward, just a brief on what Mutajadeda Program is and when it was launched here in SIDF. It was launched in 2019, and it covers three main items that will be discussed for the renewable energy sector. And as we look at the main pillars, is here to look at the investment opportunities and transferring the technologies to the kingdom and developing capabilities. As we move forward, the three main components that will be discussed will be the renewable energy components manufacturing, renewable independent power producers, which is for the utility scale projects, followed by the distributed solar electrical generation. Now, firstly, looking into the manufacturing, there are going to be components that are going to be the key or the highlighted items, with regards to the Mutajadeda Program, three of which are in the solar PV value chain, and the other three are in the wind energy value chain. As it is clear here that the solar, the components are for the PV panels assembly, inverter assembly, and the PV mounting structure and trackers. Similarly, for the wind, there are three components as mentioned, which is going to be the tower itself, the rotor blades, and the nacelle. And as we move forward now towards the financial incentives, which will be very briefly going through them for the renewable energy manufacturing components, is the financing up to 75%, the longer tenure for these projects that usually run up to 50, which is averaged at 15 years, and the grace period that has been extended to 36 months. Now, I will now move forward the utility scale projects. These are for the projects of capacity 150 megawatts and below. And similarly, it has financial incentives of up to 75% financing, 36-month the grace period, but the tenure reaches up to 20 years, which is slightly longer than the other one. And as we move forward, the distributed solar electrical generation, for this item we have like the on-grid installations and the off-grid installations. And the main focus is for the solar PV projects. Similarly, the financial incentives is the tenure reaching up to 15 years, the grace period up to 36 months, and the financing reaching up to 75%. So these are the main highlights of what Mutajadeda is, what its components, and subcomponents, and its high-level financial incentives. So thank you very much for listening, and for further information, you are welcome to reach me for the details of this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibrahim and Abdullah, for this informative presentation. Now we would like to invite Mr. Abdullah Kahtani from the Oil Sustainability Program to present the program role in supporting this sector.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you to the SIDF team for arranging this event in the November month. I'll just give you a glimpse about the Oil Sustainability Program, which is part of the energy ecosystem here in Saudi Arabia, about what is the contribution in the energy and the environment that leads us towards our Vision 2030. So, back in 2018, what we call a design phase started. There was a lot of forecast. You might be knowing that about what's the future of the oil and what's going to happen in the next decades for the oil. So, in order to answer that question, we brought multiple entities from local and international, from multiple disciplines, think tanks, governments, private sector, everyone has anything to do with oil, and we just brought them in to study and to explore what are the opportunities in the oil market. to capitalize on and to identify the exact opportunities. So, and also to have a better understanding, to also position our country in this market where it can be a leader in that market. So, as a result out of that, we identified 46 opportunities for that. Just before we go to the opportunities, how do we report? We work under the umbrella of the Supreme Committee of the Hydrocarbons Affairs, that is headed by the Crown Prince. We have a supervisory committee that is headed by the Minister of Energy, His Royal Highness Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman. And this supervisory committee consists of multiple governmental and private sector entities that are major stakeholders in our program. As you can see, those are the entities that are part of our supervisory committee. And we are the executive office of this program that we work in deploying and implementing the identified opportunities. So what are the basis of our initiatives and opportunities? We work we have 3 strategic pillars or 3 bases that we do: development, innovation, and sustainability. For the development, we care about developing the infrastructure that will enable us to deliver our initiatives. Also, some initiatives are still need a lot of innovation, R&D efforts to be done. So we have an innovation vertical in our program, and as you can see, you will be seeing in the next couple of slides that we have some innovation efforts. And of course, a vertical or a major aspect of what we do is we take care of economics and environmental sustainability in those initiatives. So during that design phase, we identified more than 80 opportunities in the oil market, spread across 3 main sectors: transportation, utilities, and materials. We prioritized those initiatives, and we ended up with mainly 46 opportunities that again fall under the transportation, utilities, and materials. So what do we do as an OSP, or Oil Sustainability Program? Or what are the levers that we have in our program? We enable business investments, financing, and also facilitating equities through our partners that are working with us. We enable the infrastructure investments. As we said, infrastructure investments in multiple sectors are very important to enable the delivery of these initiatives. Regulatory and policy are also an important part. We enable and work hand by hand with policy and regulatory bodies to promote and facilitate the development of standards, new regulations, amend existing regulations. Also, awareness is an important part that we do, that we advocate and increase the awareness of utilization of whatever initiative that we need to do. And also the innovation, as we spoke before that, innovation and technology management is an important part where we enable the fund to the R&D projects, invest in the technologies that we want to commercialize at the end, and also we align and also unify the R&D efforts in those technologies. We have identified tens of stakeholders that are key stakeholders that we want to work with to implement those initiatives, and ranges from governmental agencies, think tanks, private sectors, fund entities, etc. Even the giga projects that fall under the BIF, we have working with them hand by hand. International organizations, we work with all of these stakeholders to deliver the implementation of these initiatives. Some of them already engaged with, and some of them are coming on the pipeline. So I'll just give just give 2 examples of what we do. Clean Cooking Solution Initiative is one of our major initiatives. We target in this initiative a global scale. What we do here is why are we launching such an initiative? We know that energy access, especially in Africa and Southeast Asia, is a struggle and is an issue. More than 65% of the worldwide population lagging behind the access of energy. So what is the opportunity we have here is we provide them with the LPG as a clean cooking way of, instead of or replacing the biomass fuel, and of course that will enhance the economies and uplift the communities in those countries that we were targeting. So for this initiative, during the G20 here in Saudi Arabia, it was endorsed by the G20 countries. Afterwards, it was launched during last year in the Middle East Green Initiative by the Crown Prince, and was announced as Saudi initiative within the Middle East Green Initiative. And OSP is the owner of this initiative, and we are driving the implementation of this initiative. As a matter of fact, just a couple of days ago in Sharm el-Sheikh, as you know, COP27 were there, and the Middle East Green Initiative Forum or the summit were there. We announced an official collaboration with multiple countries that we'll be seeing in the next slides that support and enable the clean cooking initiative in those countries. The next, please. So, again, it's about the Saudi Green Initiative and the Middle East Green Initiative. One of the main announcements happened in the Middle East Green Initiative last year is about the regional initiative clean cooking solution to target more than 750 million across the globe that lacking access to clean cooking solutions, along with other announcements that's related to the circular carbon economy hub here, regional hub here in the Middle East. Next, please. Now, we are working in this initiative in 5 main pillars. When we go to a country and address this issue of the clean cooking, we target the affordability part, where we target the clean cooking kits, cylinders, etc. Infrastructure, how do we deliver all of these solutions to the end customer? Policy and regulations, currently we're working with one of the countries that we just announced, which is Madagascar, to amend the current and existing regulations to the standards and regulations in that country to push for upscaling the market. Also, the pushing for the awareness in multiple countries, and also, of course, we make sure that the LPG supply to those countries are secure and reliable. Now, just last Thursday, as we mentioned, we announced the collaboration with Madagascar, Nigeria, and Ghana. Those the current countries, and we are targeting multiple countries in the next year. For Madagascar, the Ministry of Energy signed an MOU with OPEC Fund to collaborate on an energy transition program in Madagascar. And one of the main part of that collaboration is to tackle the clean cooking solution in Madagascar. That is our country that we started working in maybe since more than 6 months, and we are now currently providing policy recommendations to the government to push for upscaling the LPG market. And in Madagascar, we are working with the private sector in Madagascar to implement the necessary infrastructure projects, and also we are embedding the local content here in this by talking and discussing with local manufacturers to enable them to export their products to Madagascar. Nigeria already implemented the LPG, or started implementing the LPG as an alternative clean cooking solution. But they are struggling with the awareness within their population, and that's actually where we come in. We have a policy and awareness team that is working closely with the Ministry of Energy in Nigeria to fund and design training and awareness program in Nigeria. Ghana, we just started discussions with them. We are trying to identify across the complete value chain in Ghana, where are the gaps, how we can bridge those gaps for the same project. Now, this was one example. The Oil Sustainability Program formed a innovation and R&D consortium. We call it FLEET Consortium. FLEET stands for Fuels, Lubricant, Efficient Engines Technology. This FLEET Consortium is about supporting and pushing for all of the innovation and R&D efforts in the transportation sector. We gather all of the relevant stakeholders, again, either local or international stakeholders, in a consortium to support pushing for the transportation R&D. So, and of course, it's an economic and environmental aspect. What are the objectives of this consortium? We're having R&D and innovation to have an efficient fuel, efficient lubricant and additives, and of course, reduce carbon footprint out of this fuel, and developing the expertise and human capital out of that consortium. Guys, can you go next? Now, the scope of that consortium is mainly about 4 or 6 parts. The first one is about fuel efficiency. This doesn't work. Okay, خلاص inshallah. So the scope of the consortium is about 5, let me say 5 pillars or 5 verticals. The first one is about fuel formation, where we enhance the fuel type or the existing type to have it more efficient and less carbon footprint. There are also the physics-based simulation and software to be developed to have a simulation to all of that physical and chemical spray process in one of the projects that we're doing now. The additives is to also optimize the lubricants, the additives, and also the catalyst, and those that's related to all of that fuel, and also enhancing the engine design, the combustion engine design, to make it more effective and efficient and environmentally friendly. And the last one is about, again, the awareness of utilizing these new technologies and having. There are currently this year multiple projects already launched, especially in the fuel formulation, which is one of them is the methanol to gasoline project. It's about producing the gasoline out of the methanol using renewable energy in the standard refinery equipment, and other 5 projects fall under all of these verticals or schools. Who are partnering with us in this? We just launched this consortium this year. We have R&D institutes, we have industry players, and we have commercial players. But for now, what already membered and enrolled in this consortium, we have the think tanks like KAUST and KFUBM. We have Toyota, Hyundai, Sabitco, Aramco, Bahri, BGT as the private sector, and we're targeting more players in the next year, inshallah. Why are we gathering all of this together? It's because open access to data from each and everyone. Everyone is doing his own research, but bringing all minds together makes a difference. We're trying to create an ecosystem between all of these. Everyone is doing his research based on his aspect, based on his perspective, but gathering them all together will result in a unified result. Plus, mutual spending instead of duplicating the spending will be also a key factor here. That was a brief about. We have a lot more than this, but this is what I could within the time limitations. I'm happy to receive any questions if there is any, please.
Thank you so much for a nice presentation.
Thank you.
So my question to you is that you mentioned in the initial slides of the presentation that as a part of carbon removal from the system, you are going to promote LPG as a solution with African countries like Ghana.
Yes.
So you said you will subsidize the LPG kits. So who will ensure the continuity of LPG should go to these countries? Like they are importers of crude oil. So who will ensure LPG is substituted and it's subsidized or continuity of the LPG to these countries?
Insurance of LPG supply to these countries, of course. Doing that is in partnership with Aramco. Aramco is the most reliable supplier for fuel worldwide. That is how to ensure the LPG supply. And for the cylinders, cooking kits, etc., we are partnering with either international or even local from that country suppliers to supply these kits in let's say in a sustainable manner to that country. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
My question is regarding the clean cooking.
Yeah.
So you are focusing on Africa and Southeast Asia. So my question is, from your opinion, what is the challenges or the main challenges from your opinion on providing that to these countries?
I'll answer your question, but I have a note, just maybe I missed during my presentation. Now, we are promoting the LPG as a clean cooking solution, but actually for the initiative itself, we are promoting an energy mix for that solutions. So either it's LPG or it is coming from renewable energy that will be operated for the electricity or the electrical stoves. So we have both, and we are promoting both, and we promote also hybrid systems. So going back to your question about the challenges we face in those governments, of course, monopoly markets, lack of infrastructure, that are the most, and also lack of regulations. These are the three most challenges that we face. It takes time to develop regulations. It takes time to implement infrastructure projects, especially speaking from the terminal across the sea, bottling plants, and across the value chain until it gets to the end user. And also a fourth challenge is the affordability. But, I mean, you can do all of that and eventually people cannot pay for that. So how you tackle that? There are multiple ideas to do that, either the pay as you go, like an application, you just pay as you use, or something called microfinancing, or so there are multiple models that we try to implement to tackle the affordability part. So that's are the main challenges that we face. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Engineer Abdullah, and for this insightful presentation. It's a revolution in the vessel industry. It aims to produce zero emission. It's invented by Mitsui, Japan, and we have today Mr. Kanutara Shima, the General Manager of Research and Development Center of Mitsui. Mr. Shima, please.
Hello everyone. So Majid, can you share my voice?
Yeah, we can hear you, my bad.
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much for your invitation today. My name is Shima from MOL. I'm a general manager of Technology Research Center at MOL. Today I'm very pleased to be here to introduce our project, Wind Hunter project, creating our future with wind and hydrogen. This is a zero emission project. Okay, now first let me talk about MOL initiative to reduce our GHG emissions here. And here's our plans up to 2050s. And we want to introduce the alternative fuels such as biofuels, ammonia, and hydrogen sources. On the right-hand side, you can see major milestone there. Let's say by 2020, we are going to make for net zero emission ocean-going vessels. And by 2030, we'll be introducing LNG fuel vessel up to 90 vessels. It's not LNG fuel vessels. And by 2035, we'll be doing approximately 45 reduction of GHG reduction intensity compared to the one in 2019, as well as 110 net zero emissions vessel operations by use of methanol and ammonia hydrogen and service. Okay, here's some current latest our activity for GHG reduction issues. Here on the right-hand side, we have a LNG fuel tugboat. It's already started service from 2019. And on the right-hand side, we have LNG ferries. Now it's under construction at the Japan shipyard. And the first one will be delivered this year, and the second one will be delivered this year, next year. And on the bottom, you can see that this is a bunkering vessel. She's currently working in the Tokyo Bay area, and her fuel is not oil. I mean, her fuel is purely battery, so this is zero emission vessel. Okay, now this picture is showing the vessel from a Wind Challenger project. This vessel named Shohuma already started service from last month. And the vessel length is about 235 meters long and 43 meters width. And this vessel, we have one main engine, and we have one hull sail fitting on foresight. And from the next slide, you can see how this hull sail works. And okay, we have a video here. We take this picture from her sea trial. You see that we have one hull sail here. This is the hull telescopic type hull sail. This is a full telescopic type. The height is about 54 meters. The width is 15 meters. 15 meters. We have a very, very successful sea trial, and she started operation from last month. Okay, now we come to our mine wind hunter project. This is as a development from Wind Challenger, we have launched Wind Hunter project. Wind Hunter uses the Wind Challenger hull sail, but the energy only comes from natural wind. Natural wind will generate the hydrogen on board. We do not need any fossil fuel. This is purely zero emission project at best. Okay, this is a milestone of Wind Hunter project. On the bottom, you can see that in the red, this is our final target to create the new building of the large commercial vessels. And this can be creating large cargo carriers with zero emissions or maybe hydrogen production vessel. Maybe later we'll explain later. And to achieve this goal, we have some set a few steps to finish. So let me briefly explain one by one. First, this is a stage one, and we bought a yacht and retrofitted various equipment, such as the hydrogen fuel and storage alloy, and water electrolysis equipment, generator turbine, and so on. On the top, you can see our modification plans. The yellow ones show our retrofitted ones, about totally 1.5 tons of the weight of additional weight was retrofitted. And on the bottom, this is the actual the implementation plans. Just for information, this is a hydrogen generation room. We have a water electrolyzer here. We have a fuel cell. Okay, now here's a stage one brief summary. We already finished this demonstration. We have done the sea trial from last November and this January at the Nagasaki Bay, Japan. With wind, we successfully generated the electricity by the underwater turbine, and such electric power will, put in the water electrolysis equipment. Then we had a hydrogen generation board. This hydrogen was stored hydrogen storage alloy. And also from that hydrogen storage alloy, we take out the hydrogen, then put in a fuel cell, then we have the electricity. Then we put in the electricity motor and propeller lines. Then we successfully finished this demonstration. This is also zero emission vessels. Now this is the next step, stage 1.B, a small change from stage 1. Now this is the big difference. The previous one, stage 1 and stage 1B, is a hydrogen carrier. For stage 1, we apply the hydrogen storage alloy. But for this new stage, we will use MCH. So this hydrogen storage alloy will be replaced with a hydrogenator and dehydrogenator. Then now we come to what is MCH? Okay, MCH is created from a hydrogen plus chlorine with a chemical reaction, this MCH. MCH, the technical particulars are here, ambient temperature and ambient pressure and liquid. So it's very easy to handle. Let's say compared to the liquid hydrogen, this is very, very cold, so very hard to handle. And also the more hydrogen weight percent is obtained compared to the hydrogen storage alloy. Okay, now we go to the stage 2. Around by 2025, we want to make the hydrogen production vessel. And we aim to build about 60 to 70 meters long vessel. And this is, like I said, a hydrogen production vessel. And we are currently doing the feasibility study and hopefully to finish by early next year. Okay, this is a concept of vessel at the stage 2, and again, this is concept. So very high rigid sail fitted on the vessel. Very, maybe we could say very hard, but anyway, we are doing the feasibility study, and I'd like to have this video show our stage 2. Sorry for that. Only Japanese like a subscription there. And just for information, that at this end of this month, this video that you saw is just only 1 minute version, and we are going to create 9 minute version. then so that you can see our future plans and also as well as our inside of our plans, how it works. Okay, now for the stage 2, let me explain the plant informations. As you may guess from the video, this vessel concept is for the hydrogen vessel. Go to the wind gears to hunt the wind. Then generate the hydrogen bulb, change it to the MCH. Then store the bulb. Once MCH are full in the tanks, the vessel go back to the port for discharging the MCH. Then after the empty, the vessel go back to the windy area again to hunt the wind. So this MCH will be expected to be used for the land-based energy various purpose. Okay, now we finally come to our target after 20,000, create for new buildings for the large commercial vessel. And this could be large cargo carriers with zero emission and or the hydrogen production vessel. So if we talk about the large cargo carriers with zero emission, it's like this. The engine room, we have the key component there. And for the foresight, we do have a cargo there. We have a wind challenger house fitted. So, and also this could be large hydrogen production carriers. We also are now under considerations. Okay, this is a final slide for myself. This is a way forward for the hydrogen supply chain. This series of hydrogen supply chain, wind hunt itself are only limited parts of the supply chain. You see this supply chain, new building vessels, operates a vessel, and produce hydrogen, store the hydrogen, and carries hydrogen, discharge the load. This discharge the hydrogen at port. So our project definitely need collaboration with various companies to create this hydrogen supply chain strong enough for the future. So we are very happy to work with the various companies in the future. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Mr. Shima. If you have questions, please. If you have time for a question, Mr. Shima.
Thank you, Shima-san, for a very interesting presentation. One question, in terms of hydrogen generation, how much of the energy required comes from the propulsion system of the vessel, and how much from the wind?
Thank you very much for your questions. And actually, like I said, for the stage 2, we are currently doing the feasibility study, and also, actually for our side, we are doing not only for the single hull and also Hammer vessel, since this hull cell need strong enough stability. So currently it depends on we have to set the hull shape and also the wind power, how much we can get. So currently, I'm sorry to say I cannot exactly say what's your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Shima. My question is, how much feasible it will be for this vessel to be commercially viable, since from my side it seems like it's like putting a small refinery on the board of a ship to produce gasoline to run it. So it's how much feasible it will be in future for a ship company to go to this type of vessel rather than the vessel which will be run on hydrogen, and they can get it refueled at any hydrogen refueling harbor. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, this type of vessel, I think this is very, very fast in the world, I would say. So nobody created this vessel. And also the hydrogen carrier, you can see the hydrogen, let's say liquid hydrogen, and also part of the carrier, and ammonia, and also part of the carrier. And MCH is also part of the carrier. Now, Japanese companies started to work on this MCH as a, for the transporting. And yes, for our side, technical side, for this one, okay, first of all, the key components, I would believe that is two parts. On the deck side and in the engine room side. And just for this MCH tank and tolling tank, MCH itself is not special liquid. We can accommodate in the, let's say, chemical tanks, so it's not special tank required. Now, regarding the wind challenge wholesale, like we explained, we already have experience for this one. Now we come to the inside of the engine room, and actually in the world already exists this key component, the wall direct equipment, and this MCH generator and the hydrogen fuel cell. So we have to combine together, but the challenge is that in the marine world, very different from a short usage. So we are currently doing the deep discussion with maker to be fitted for the marine type use. For example, the vibration, the noise, and the sea salt situation is totally different from the land use basis. And also, I didn't explain it for the details. We are also currently doing the development work with one of the Japanese company for the propeller. This is an electrical propeller and turbine generator. This is the same function. In case of we need to generate the electrical power, then this can be one unit can generate a turbine. And if we need to go for the propulsion, this can be, sorry, I cannot talk the detail, but this can change to the electrical propeller. So I don't say that it's not feasible. The thing is that the efficiency issue. Currently, we are doing the feasibility study for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shima-san, for that very informative presentation. I think my question is very similar to the previous one. Is the purpose of this initiative or this idea, is the drive behind it to have a zero-emission cargo solution, or is it to produce hydrogen and maybe ammonia and then sell it to the shore? I mean, what is the drive behind it? Because again, I go back to the economics of this solution. And maybe I second my previous question, or the previous question that was asked, that it might be more efficient for hydrogen to be produced on site, on land, and then maybe being transported in your cargo.
Thank you very much for the questions. And our initiatives is that we are like here, we little by little introduce our new alternative fuels. Our project is, like I said, the hydrogen, part of the hydrogen. And actually, our company is working on the biofuel, ammonia, and hydrogen. So that in the company basis, we work a lot of alternative fuels. So that by this milestone, to achieve this one, to achieve our goals. So I'm not sure if my answer is good enough for your questions, but anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Shima. Okay, last question.
Thank you very much for the fruitful presentation. So I have two questions. The first question, in terms of the maturity of this project, what would you rate it in terms of TRL? And then the second question, what would be the hydrogen capture rate here? Since we're assuming that it's going to be a closed loop system, so we'll assume that it has zero emission. So what would be the hydrogen capture rate here? And thank you very much.
Thank you very much. For the first question, sorry, I couldn't get it correctly. R and M?
For the maturity level of the project in terms of TRL, so you're piloting, so we'd assume it's 6 till you reach commercialization. So are we talking about 6 or 7 here?
Okay, I would say that 6%, because we demonstrated, we have some steps. Actually, it's already finished for the hydrogen demonstrations. And currently we're doing this one up to by next year. And this stage 2, we are currently doing the feasibility study. So we will say the majority level is good enough, 6%. And also next question, that you said the hydrogen capture rate.
Yes, so you're doing here, basically you have an electrolyzer and you have the fuel cell. So that's coming out as a hydrogen. So what would be the hydrogen rate? So if we want to think of it as, is it feasible technology to transfer my water, to hydrogen? We want to put into consideration that we'll have a makeup. So, I just want to compare the hydrogen rate that I'm going to get in terms of comparing it to the makeup that I'm going to add to this technology. Does that make sense?
Okay. Is that I understand that the hydrogen rate, the growth rate, if you talk about, okay, let's say we put 100 power from a generator, then we have let's say currently, due to the current technology, 40 or 50% of the hydrogen. Is that your questions?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And yes, basically currently the efficient rate is not good well enough. But you see this this vessel, this project, just only we need a wind. Wind makes it a hydrogen, and the hydrogen, we take as seawater, then change it to the pure water, then water electrolysis, then we get the hydrogen. So free wind makes the hydrogen. So that I hope you understand. So.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shima, for this, and we hope to see it real in near future. With that, we would like to thank Mr. Shima, and there is a little present will be sent to you to your address later on. We will arrange that. Thank you so much. Now we will have 15 minutes break and enjoy the snack. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. Now we would like to invite Mr. Hazza Dajani to present the local content contribution to the energy sector.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أخوكم هزاع الدعجاني رئيس قطاع الطاقة في هيئة المحتوى المحلي. I apologize if this presentation is in Arabic, but we will be happy to receive English questions in the English at the end of the presentation. يسعدني أن أقدم لكم اليوم نبذة عن الهيئة ودورها في تعزيز المحتوى المحلي في قطاع الطاقة. في عرض اليوم راح أتكلم عن رحلة الهيئة ورؤيتها وأهدافها، وكذلك عن مفهوم المحتوى المحلي وأهميته على الاقتصاد الوطني، وكذلك السياسات والتشريعات التي قررتها الهيئة منذ بداية تأسيسها إلى الآن. وفي النهاية راح أتكلم عن بعض منجزات الهيئة في قطاع الطاقة. انطلق مفهوم المحتوى المحلي مع انطلاق رؤية 2030 في 2016، وبعدها بسنتين تم تأسيس الهيئة بموجب أمر ملكي لتحقيق مستهدفات الرؤية. وفي الأعوام التي تليها بدأت الهيئة باعتماد استراتيجيات وإطلاق المبادرات والشراكات مع القطاع العام والخاص والآليات والسياسات بشكل التي بشأن تنمية المحتوى المحلي، وراح نتطرق لها بالتفصيل في الشرائح القادمة. وضعت الهيئة رؤية واضحة لتعزيز الإمكانيات المحلية وتعظيم الفائدة من القوة الشرائية الوطنية، وترجمت هذه الرؤية إلى 3 ركائز مهمة. الأولى هي التطوير والتنمية، وتعنى بزيادة المحتوى المحلي في المشتريات سواء الحكومية أو القطاع الخاص. 2 الالتزام والمتابعة، وهو التأكد أن هذه الجهات فعلا التزمت بتضمين متطلبات المحتوى المحلي ويتم مراقبتها ومراجعتها بشكل مستمر. والركيزة الثالثة هي التمكين والدعم، وذلك ببناء قدرات المعرفة والتأهيل للشركات ورفع الوعي حول المحتوى المحلي في مختلف الشرائح الاقتصادية. قامت الهيئة بوضع تعريف موحد للمحتوى المحلي، وهو إجمالي الإنفاق في المملكة العربية السعودية من خلال مشاركة العناصر السعودية في القوى العاملة والسلع والخدمات والأصول والتقنية. كما قامت الهيئة أيضا بوضع آلية قياس موحدة، واعتمدت أكثر من 30 مكتب تدقيق للقيام بأعمال تدقيق والمراجعة لنسبة المحتوى المحلي. والآن نستعرض معكم أهم التشريعات والمبادرات التي أقرتها الهيئة. على الصعيد الحكومي تم تضمين 4 آليات للمحتوى المحلي في نظام المنافسات والمشتريات الحكومية، وهي القائمة الإلزامية للمنتجات الوطنية، وهي قائمة للمنتجات الوطنية اللي تصنعها 3 مصانع وأكثر، وتلتزم الجهات الحكومية بالشراء من هذه القائمة تحت أسقف سعرية محددة. الآلية الثانية هي آلية التفضيل السعري، وهذه تفيد كثير في تعزيز سلاسل الإمداد، وأيضا آليات الوزن المحتوى المحلي والحد الأدنى، وهذه تستخدم غالبا في المشاريع الكبيرة. كذلك تم إطلاق أسلوب الأوف-تيك أجريمنت تحت مسمى أسلوب التعاقد على توطين الصناعة ونقل المعرفة، وكذلك تم تفعيل فرق المحتوى المحلي في جميع الجهات الحكومية لتنمية المحتوى المحلي في مشتريات هذه الجهات. وكذلك تم تضمين متطلبات المحتوى المحلي في العقود العالية القيمة أكثر من 50 مليون، وكذلك في جميع الاتفاقيات الإطارية. على صعيد القطاع الخاص أطلقت الهيئة مبادرة شراكات المحتوى المحلي مع القطاع الخاص، وكذلك شكلت مجلس تنسيق المحتوى المحلي مع الشركات الوطنية الكبرى مثل أرامكو وسابك ومعادن، شركة STC وشركة الكهرب والخطوط السعودية. وكذلك تم اعتماد منتدى وجائزة للمحتوى المحلي تقام بشكل سنوي، وتستهدف تحفيز القطاعين العام والخاص والموردين والشركات. على المستوى الأفراد أطلقت الهيئة حملة وطنية تحت شعار منا وفينا للتوعية والتعريف بمفهوم المحتوى المحلي وعناصره. وفي النهاية أود أستعرض معكم إسهامات الهيئة في قطاع الطاقة. طبعا أطلقت القائمة الإلزامية وتحتوي على العديد من عناصر أو منتجات قطاع الطاقة مثل الكيبلز والترانسفورمرز والسويتش جيرز، وكذلك بعض المعدات المستخدمة في قطاع الطاقة مثل الفالفز والبامبز، ويتم إضافة المنتجات بشكل مستمر. جميع المشاريع اللي تتعلق بقطاع الطاقة تستفيد من القدرات المحلية أو المصانع المحلية اللي موجودة في القائمة الإلزامية. طبعا القائمة الإلزامية موجودة في موقع الهيئة، وبإمكان أي شركة تقديم طلب للإدراج في القائمة الإلزامية عن طريق موقع الهيئة، وإذا هي من ضمن الضوابط سوف يتم إدراجها. هذا بشكل مختصر تعريف عن الهيئة ودورها. I'll be happy to receive 3 questions if there are any questions here. اتفضل.
السلام عليكم.
حياك الله.
شكرا على المعلومات الممتازة. المحتوى المحلي الحقيقة عنصر مهم جدا في تنمية الصناعات المختلفة في القطاعات المختلفة. أنا سؤالي طويل العمر عن وش الماتريكس أو المعادلة اللي تحقق من حيث التعريف المحتوى المحلي، وهل هي ثابتة ولا كل قطاع له معادلة معينة؟ يعني مثلا فيه سلع استراتيجية، في سلع عالية التقنية، في سلع متاحة، فهل معادلة المحتوى المحلي ثابتة لكل القطاعات أو وش الآلية حقت حساب نسبة المحتوى المحلي؟ شكرا.
الله يعطيك العافية. طبعا نسبة أو مفهوم المحتوى المحلي وآلية قياسه هي موحدة على جميع القطاعات، ولكن تستخدم عدة آليات للمحتوى المحلي حسب احتياج القطاع. في قطاعات متشور في البزنس مثل قطاع البناء والتشييد، هذه يعني زي الخرسانة والحديد والسمنت، هذه موجودة اوريدي، هذه لها آليات معينة تتأكد أنه جميع المشتريات تصب في مصلحة هذه المصانع المحلية. لما نروح للقطاعات مثلا نسبة المحتوى المحلي فيها مدنية نوعا ما، نركز فيها على التوطين، فندخل في آليات اللي تساعد في التوطين زي اتفاقيات توطين الصناعة ونقل المعرفة. فهو المفهوم واحد، ولكن اختيار الآليات يعتمد على الماتشورتي تبع كل قطاع. أتمنى يكون يعني جاوب.
جيد. هل ينطبق هذا على التفضيل السعري ولا؟
نعم، التفضيل السعري على جميع
لا، هل ينطبق يعني مثل ما تفضلت، إذا احنا عندنا يعني بعض القطاعات اللي ماتيور كويس، هل تقارن بقطاعات زي مثلا في الفارماسيتيكال، في الفاكسين ولا شيء، يعني صناعات متقدمة واستراتيجية، هل التفضيل السعري هو ثابت؟ برضو لك كل واحد له آلية مختلفة؟
لا آلية، طبعا في يعني نطاقين للتفضيل السعري، هو إما دعم صناعة سلاسل الإمداد، فهذه تستخدم على الجميع، أو أنه التفضيل السعري لأجل المنافسة، أنه المنتج النهائي يواجه منافسة من الواردات، وبالتالي يحتاج إلى تفضيل سعري للمنتج نفسه وغير سلاسل الإمداد. فهي حسب كل قطاع واحتياجه في التفضيل السعري. يعطيك العافية.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. يعطيك العافية أستاذ هزاع. عندي سؤال. أنت ذكرت أنه موضوع وجود 3 منتجين محليين ممكن يكون هو الكرايتيريا أنه يكون من ضمن المشتريات الحكومية، لو نذكر. فنتكلم اليوم مثلا عن ألواح الطاقة الشمسية، اليوم عندنا تقريبا 3 أو 4 مصانع. ما أدري وش التوجه عندكم من ناحية يعني إضافتها للمنتجات الطاقة، لأنه هذا ممكن يعني يكون داعم كبير للمنتجات المحلية.
نعم، الله يعطيك العافية. المنتجات البيفي بانلز مدرجة في القائمة الإلزامية، وأنه أغلب المشاريع الحكومية أقل من 50 ميجا واط، فوضعنا حد سقف لها 50 ميجا واط. ولم تخني الذاكرة أنه السقف السعري فيها أعلى من النور عادة 10%، أظن وصلنا فيها 15%، فهي جزء من القائمة الإلزامية. آخر سؤال.
شكرا لك أخوي خزاع. سؤالي هو، هل هناك عقود حكومية أو مشتريات حكومية تكون مستثناة من هيئة المحتوى المحلي؟
جميع المنافسات، جميع المشتريات الحكومية اللي من ضمن نظام المنافسات والمشتريات الحكومية هي من ضمن رادار المحتوى المحلي. طيب، يعطيكم العافية جميعا. شكرا.
يعطيك العافية أستاذ حزاع for we would like to thank you for this informative session, and now we would like to invite Mr. Mohammed Al-Assab from Desert Technology to speak about the localization journey. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, thank you so much for SIDF team to invite us. Actually, my name is Mohammed Jamal Ba'agil. I'm on behalf of my colleague, Mr. Mohammed Mutajadeda Program. He's on leave today and he cannot make it, so we hope, inshallah, to continue and have this presentation in good manner. So, today we'll talk about the localization journey in Desert Technology. Desert Technology is a Saudi company that established in 2012, and we have three main arms. I will explain more about the DT Labs because we have DT Labs, DT EPC, and DT Investment. And our main focus business is for the manufacturing the solar panels, the solar PV photovoltaic panels. So Desert Technology, as I said, established in 2012, and it's a Saudi company, and we have a facility to produce a solar panel and also to develop solar applications like solar kits or solar container. Our factory is in Jeddah, and you are more than welcome to visit us in our factory. It's a state-of-art technology. We import the production line from Europe, from Germany بالتحديد. And the location is in Jeddah, and the area it's around 10,000 square meter. We produce around 550,000 solar panel per year. As you can see here, this is the production line process. It's about 15 process between manufacturing or producing process and quality control process. It's kind of layers. We put it. Just want to go deep on the manufacturing process of the solar panel. As you can see here in the start, we have the taper stringer. This is fully automated machine. We load here the solar cells. The cells, it's very sensitive, so we link the cells for to each other to create a string. And this string, it's a masfufa. It's a kind of a 7 or a 9 or 10, depend on the design of cells. After we creating the cells and link it together with the ribbon, and here I want to mention some material to check and to see how we can here in Saudi Arabia to produce also the raw material of the solar panel, because us as a Desert Technology, we are a solar factory, local factory to assemble the production line. However, we are doing our best to localize also the raw material of this product. So as you can see here, the auto layup, after we connect the cells together and then we create the strings, and then you can see the busing, which is the third process. After that, we do a quality control, visual inspection, and having the EL, the first EL machine, which is showing if there is any defect or any micro crack on the cells. After that, we do elimination. The elimination, it's kind of heating process to eliminate the material. And when I say the material, it's the glass, the first EVA, the cells, the second EVA, and the backsheet. So all these layers will go to the elimination process. And even the EVA, it's kind of petrochemical material, ethyl phenyl acetate, and it's touchable, and you can see it, and it has like a light white color. However, after we do the elimination process, it will be melted, so you cannot see. After that, you will just see the glass and the solar cells, and then the backsheet. But there is two layers of the EVA, which is the ethyl phenyl acetate. And then after we do a quality control process, and then another framing station, which is we load the frame. We hope that also we can localize this material. After that, we do the flash test report and hypo test. And the flash test is kind of sun simulator. After we manufacture the panels, there is like a simulator of the radiation of the sun. It has like a second to show the IV curve, which is the ampere and the voltage of the panels and the power of the panels. After that, we do another inspection, which is EL test, electroluminaire. If there is any micro crack, if there is any defect matter, we just sort it and then we back it, and alhamdulillah, made in Saudi Arabia. This is the layers that I already explained. The frames and the glasses, the EVA, the cells, the ribbon, and then the junction box in the back. Alhamdulillah, Desert Technology already got the TUV certification from German, and also we have all the ISO quality standards already. The factory is certified. Right now we are in progress with the UL thanks to the GCC lab, and this is one of the local content enhancement for the testing and certifications, since we have in المنطقة الشرقية in the eastern region in Dammam, the UL and the GCC lab. They already have, they established the GRL, the Gulf Renewable Lab, for testing and certifying the module. Another product that we have, or we develop also in Desert Technologies, which is the solar container. It's especially for the off-grid location. Off-grid, if there is no infrastructure, no source of power, we develop this in-house, and we maintain. It's, as you see, that's 40 feet or 20 feet container. Is isolated, controlled, cold controlled, monitored, and to generate, and you can see the solar panel up to the container. There is three type of application of this solar container: the PV panels plus the storage system PV and diesel generator, or in some cases just only diesel generator and the storage system. Alhamdulillah, after 2 years of developing this product, we launched it in Rally Dakar 2 years ago in new substation, and then after that, alhamdulillah, right now we are delivering around 16 solar container in the northwest of the kingdom for remote area to feed electrical vehicle chargers, to also feed the telecommunication towers and a boat electrical charger. Alhamdulillah, Desert Technology right now, this is one of the challenges that alhamdulillah we pass. Our footprint right now, we secure some projects around the GCC country, around the MENA region. If you remember the KSA pavilion in the Expo Dubai, it's covered by solar made by Desert Technology. Alhamdulillah, all in black. This was a custom product. And also in Greece, we reach Greece. The good things that we import the technology, the know-how, the production line from German, from Europe, and alhamdulillah we export our panel to Europe right now. We alhamdulillah secure some deals in the United States, in Antigua, in Mozambique, in Madagascar. We have some project there. We supply the solar panels, and inshallah next week also to Oman we will ship 3 containers. طبعا made Saudi made. This is one of the things that we attract us to be continue. Why? Because as you know that as I mentioned in the 2012 that we established with I can say that nobody speaking a lot about renewable and solar and the technology of the crystalline, the technology of the thin film, all the application of the solar panel. Like recently after the enablers in Saudi Arabia initiate some programs. One of these programs Saudi made, this is support our management to continue fighting to have this technology or this new technology as a manufacturers and made by Saudi Arabia to be around the worldwide and also in Saudi Arabia. And Desert Technology hope to be an active partner or active member to be Saudi-made and produce Saudi-made product. What's the benefit of local content, especially in Saudi Arabia, especially for the solar panel? Because as you know, that the let's say the giant supplier of the solar panels, for sure that you know it will come from the east. However, we are, as you mentioned, we have a few manufacturers here in Saudi Arabia, so we kind of fighter, believer, dreamers to localize this kind of products. We, alhamdulillah, transfer the knowledge in Saudi Arabia. It was huge challenges, but what's the effect? What's the side effect of this to localize this solar panel? For sure that to import investment in Saudi Arabia, for sure to transfer the knowledge of this kind of new technology in Saudi Arabia, create a huge of job, and also to raise the flag of made in Saudi Arabia for in this particular technology. طبعا as the local content, there is a many of equation, let's say, to provide. This is our internal, let's say, and also we are discussed with some consultant offices for this. But as it is right now, this is the value of localize the solar panels from our perspective. So there is a design of the solar panel because there is different size of the solar panel, small, 60 cells, 72 cells, different powers. We, alhamdulillah, localize the design internal. I will jump the raw material and then come back. Manufacturing the solar panels, also, alhamdulillah, we have the fully automated solar manufacturing production line in Saudi Arabia. For the logistic, we cover all the expenses for the logistic, for the raw material. For the support, alhamdulillah, in-house, we have to provide these after-sales services and also during the operation and maintenance for some project. Back to the raw material, as you see here, there is a 10% to localize the solar panels. Some of the material, as I mentioned, kind of like the EVA, it can be produced local. Alhamdulillah, it's matched the specification and the standard for the this encapsulate layer in the solar panel. However, for the other material, other raw materials such as aluminium frame, such as the junction box, such as the glasses, we are in deep discussions with manufacturers locally, with sharing with them all the required specifications, because it's not normal glass, it's not normal aluminium, there is like a specification, and there is some quality requirement, some quality certifications that to be available. So there's even the suppliers or the manufacturer should invest to go to the solar as a raw material, because he must to have some quality process. We hope that to increase this percentage from 10 to inshallah 100%. I will jump this, but for this slide, this is when we start localize the technology and localize the product here in Saudi Arabia. So we have some collaboration with and partnership with some stakeholders that already have knowledge and experience in the solar system by some agreements, and also hiring also some expertise from the markets, especially from Europe and from some Arab countries, and also integrate with a new engineer in Saudi engineers and Saudi technicians to transfer the knowledge of this technology and what's behind this technology and what's the tricky things behind this technology. طبعا هذا الفيديو ممكن one of the process of the framing station. I don't know if it will run. Yes, here طبعا after we did all the process of elimination, this is the robot will take an individual inspection and then going to the framing station. As you can see here, the silicon and also this kind of silicon, it might be localized here in Saudi Arabia. This is the frame station. It's installed the 2-arm and then the other arms, and then other robot install the solar panel in the framing station. طبعا recently, as I said, and thanks to 2030 visions and who's behind the 2030 visions, that I can tell you myself that I am in the sector, as I told you from the beginning, 2013. And then recently, after the 2030 visions and all the initiatives, thanks to SIDF with their Mutajadeda Program, which is support also thanks to all the enablers like WIRA, like all the Saudi City company, all the enablers, governments and semi-government enablers, who's pushing hard to have this technology to be here in Saudi Arabia, to transfer, to support, to fund. And one of these initiatives is Saudi Green Initiative. Desert Technology will work hard to be a pioneer factor, member, active member to reduce the carbon emission around the world, around Saudi Arabia. And we are doing our best to be a part and active member of this initiative. Thank you so much for your listening, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
السلام عليكم.
السلام
يعطيك العافية أخوي محمد. Thank you for being here today with us, and thanks for this productive presentation. My question is, how do you see the competition, especially from China and the solar panel, locally and globally?
Okay. طيب, okay. First part for locally, let's say. What we believe that to speed up the market or grow the market of the solar panels is to have regulations, first of all, to qualified contractors and consultant, and this is what's happened recently through Shamsi. And in the same time, as a price perspective, for the local, at least if you said local market, I will say the C&I sector and residential sector, which is the commercial, industrial, and residential sector. Let's say, what's it called? The custom duty maybe will support this point, because in somehow, if I will import the raw material of the solar panel, we have to pay a custom duty. However, if you will import the final product at zero custom, this is one of the point that maybe it's hard us or attack us on the pricing, especially that our production line comparing to the China, it's not that much big. So for sure, for the supply chain, for the raw material, it will be competitive or low price in China. However, here in Saudi Arabia, it's kind of high. So if one of these prices can be cut, and also if there is some programs of supporting like Mutajadeda, it will be active for residential plus the C&I. I don't know how, but if there is like any programs, finance program will support the local content to be grow as a market. For the big utility scale, maybe we have to take a look at the requirement to qualify the local suppliers for the solar panel. As you know, that around 60% of the project size or project value is from solar panels. So I can imagine every 1 cent per watt will affect the utility scale project. So this is one of the challenges that we are faced. For sure, if there is any solutions to mitigate this obstacle with the developers, that will help us as a local manufacturers to grow more and to be big in the market as a solar Saudi-made panels.
Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Mohammed. Again, I also would like to thank you for the very insightful presentation.
Thank you.
Great information, and it was a lot of fun to listen to and follow your presentation.
Thank you.
And now I have let's say a quality-related question or technical, and I just would like to hear your insights. I have no idea how specific I want to go, so I would like to hear your insights. With regards to your final product, and a lot of it being hopefully installed in the kingdom and in areas that is like North Africa, that is a desert region, and our climate and these environments could be very harsh on these systems. So what insights you have to share with us with regards to how to mitigate these issues and how to prolong the life of these solar panels?
Yeah, thank you for your question. Selecting the raw material products. There is a criteria, let's say, since we have a harsh condition, we have to be more tight with selecting the suppliers of the raw materials. So we did a lot of evaluation, a lot of requirements to select the raw material. This is one part. During the manufacturing also, we target the highest on the highest. Maybe it will affect us cost, because some of the raw material we bring it from Europe, and this is means expensive in somehow. But we are targeting a high quality because we have a harsh climate. Alhamdulillah, we do thanks to the monitoring system in the projects. We do monitor. We have a lab, and we have some agreement also with some local research and development. We have our own lab, and also we have a monitoring system to monitor the projects that we already supplied to see if there is any degradation or any effect, and we online directly to focus, especially with the solar container, since I told you it's in remote area, so we can monitor it by video camera. We monitor the generation of the solar panels, generations, any failures, we can check and see the root cause of these failures.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Habib.
السلام عليكم.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
محمد البطاح، قسم دراسات السوق. عندي سؤال من شقين. الشق الأول، واحدة من الإيشوز اللي مع السولار بانلز وخاصة في أجوانا في السعودية والطبقة الغبار تجي على السيرفس، وهذه تقلل من الإفشنسي حقت الطاقة نفسها.
نعم.
فهل في طرق علاج للموضوع هذا؟ هل أنتم بما أن اسمكم ديزرت تكنولوجيز فممكن في عندكم بعض الحلول للموضوع هذا؟
نعم.
السؤال الثاني، في بعض الدول طبقت اللي هو الجريد سيستم اللي خلوا الناس الاند يوزر انفولد انهم يستخدمون السولار بانلز ويبيعونها على الحكومه يعني.
نعم.
فهل انتم تفكرون في انكم تطبقوا هذا الشيء في المستقبل او لا؟
طيب، شكرا لسؤالك، الله يحفظك. السؤال الاول بالنسبه للهارش كونديشن والديزرت تكنولوجيز والديزرت، ممكن سيليكا برضو هي بارت اوف ذا فروم ذا ديزرت، بيكوز القزاز السيليكا في الخلايا برضو كلها من الرمل ومن الصحراء، واحنا في الصحراء برضو يعني. ف لسؤالك بالنسبه في بعض تسمح لي بتكلم بالعربي بعدين بقلب انجليزي، لكن يعني بعض المطورين للمنتجات عندهم النانو كوتينج، والنانو كوتينج هذه طبقه وقت التصنيع تطرح على الزجاج بعد خلاص قبل الباكينج، عشان تحمي الزجاج من الرمل او قطع الرمل، خصوصا اذا كان في زي الرطوبه، فالرمل مع رطوبه يعني طين، يعني تفاعل يكون في زي التفاعل في الالمنيوم فريم او في الزجاج. ما نراه بحكم التجربه، اذا كان المشروع ضخم احنا وي ريكومند روبوتك كليننج سيستم، والحمد لله في برضه مصنع سعودي طور بعض السوليوشن هذه. اذا كان المشروع صغير صعب انك انت تو انفست وتحط الروبوتك سيستم على مشروع صغير، لكن ننصح بالتنظيف. والتنظيف في اجوانا از رول اوف ثم تقريبا 4 مرات في السنه الى 6 مرات في السنه ويت بالماء، ولها ستاندر معين مش اي ماء، ودرجه حراره معينه، لازم السيرفيس حق اللوح ومع درجة حرارة الموية أو الماء ما يكون مختلف، يكون ما بين 5 درجات مئوية عشان أي مايكرو كراك أو سكراتش بيصير في الزجاج، ولها ستاندر معين في ناحية الكلينينج، ويكون تقريبا 12 مرة، أي يعني مرة في الشهر دراي كلينينج. ممكن الأخوان في الفنار ممكن يفيدون أكثر بالنسبة للمشروع اللي عندهم، الله يبارك لهم في الروفتوب تبع مدينة الفنار. How often you clean. بالنسبة لسؤالك الثاني من ناحية النت ميترينج، خليني أقول اللي هو بيع الكهرباء للشبكة، وهذه من النقاط اللي ذكرتها في بداية الحوار، اللي هو الممكنات لتسريع عجلة تركيب محطات الطاقة الشمسية، سواء على الكوميرشال سيكتور مع اندستريال ريزيدنشال واليوتيليتي سكيل، اللي هي وجود التشريعات. اليوم الجمعة الماضية تحديث طلع برضو في ويرة بالنسبة للتشريعات، وهذا ساينس كويس إنه والله الناس بتقدر تركب إيش الريجوليشنز وكيف تبيع للشبكة بتعرفة ما طبعا تختلف هنا واختلافات نت ميترينج ولا بالميترينج، واللي هو والله وات ايفر انا باخذ من شركه الكهرباء كتعرفه 18 هلله اذا انا صناعي ابى اغذي الشبكه ب 18 هلله، وبعض الابلكيشن انا اسحب ب 18 هلله ولكن اغذي مثلا ب5 هللات او ب7 هللات. في كل الاحوال هذه بعض الممكنات. في السعوديه الحمد لله في تاهيل للمقاولين، تاهيل للاستشاريين على هذا الموضوع، ونرى ان شاء الله يمكن مع بدايه السنه القادمه يكون في تطور اكثر واكثر وفي محطات الطاقه الشمسيه. اذا في اي سؤال.
يعطيك العافيه استاذ محمد.
حياك الله.
My question actually during our study as this idea for the solar panel assembly projects, that the technology is evolving fast and the factory has to adapt by يعني having additional capex to comply or to speed up their process. However, this is in theory. Since you are established since 2013 and now it's around more than 10 years, what is the capex routine that you have did to your facility, and is it that much of a capex intensive to keep up with the current technology?
Thank you for your question. There is a challenge, yes, as you mentioned. There is some updates on the technology and we have to invest on this update to track and to follow the upgrade. I will say that as a technology, until now it's the same technology of producing solar panels. However, there is some increase of the technology of the cells or of the part of the raw material. For example, in the past we heard about thin film. The thin film اللي هو one of the technology اللي هو في الآلة الحاسبة for the calculator or في Casio watch. The thin film, this is the solar technology in the past, in the late 80s and 70s. Later on it's become the crystalline technology. Most of the suppliers produce polycrystalline technologies. Later on another technology in the same field of the crystalline, which is the monocrystalline technology. And then the monoperc. As an assembly production line, alhamdulillah, we are fit with this. Yes, there is a challenges. There is increase right now of the size of the panels, size of the cells, and that's mean maybe you have to change or tune up some of your production line to answer or to reply to the market demand. However, there is, and this is one of the solution. Yes, I cannot give you a specific number annually that we are investing on developing or upgrading the production line. However, until now we are on the safe side. Worst of the worst, and this is what we are looking. If you see the map of the global, alhamdulillah, availability of desert technology, that there is some. Yes, if you somebody aware about the solar market in the past 320 watts, this is the biggest solar panel. After that 380, this is the largest solar panel. Now we are talking about 600 watt panels. Later on we will hear about 700 watt per panel. So it's become big and big and big. In the same time, since I mentioned about the regulations, in Europe, the CNI sector for the rooftop should be 60 cells, maximum 72 cells. So there is also, I will say, from the commercial perspective, there is some area that we can also run the production while we are upgrading our production line or even investing on other production line. There is a market in Africa, there is a market in Europe who's looking for our current size or current specification of the solar panel. I'm sorry, speaking a lot, and I hope inshallah I give you a clear answer about your question. Thank you. Shukran. Shukran.
Shukran, Ustad Muhammad. We would like to thank you, Mr. Muhammad. You have already introduced the last guest of the day, Alpanar Company, presented by Saif Zahid, to present the success story of the solar distributed generation.
السلام عليكم جميعا. معكم سيف زاهد، مهندس سيف زاهد، للتيم القديم من الصندوق الصناعي. أنا كنت المين بوينت بوينت اوف كونتاكتس بالنسبه لاستثمارات الفنار بدايه من التسعينات كاول مشروع للفنار. فاحنا لنا باع طويل في التعاون مع الصندوق الصناعي فيما يخص المشاريع الصناعيه وتوطين المنتجات. اسمحوا لي في البرزنتيشن شكرا. تعريف عن الفنار. احنا طبعا البدايات بتاعت الفنار كانت في 1976. As of today, الفنار group is 2.4 billion US dollar turnover. As a team of الفنار we are 22,000 person. We have different locations, different R&D centers in Saudi Arabia mainly and other 15 countries. Our company is ISO certified and our manufacturing setup is centralized in Al-Fanar Industrial City, where we have almost 17 factories for different products and almost the entire sector of SIDF are aware about a detail of a specific factory inside Al-Fanar. Our core business, we have mainly two divisions, manufacturing division and contracting division. The manufacturing division is covering entire portfolio and producing entire portfolio starting from wires and cables, substation automations and protection systems, power distribution, switchgear, transformer, ring main units, and the last product is now Al-Fanar is the key player in Saudi Arabia for the smart ring main unit, which is one of the main products of the Saudi grid company. Al-Fanar construction is focusing on the development for power project as well as for renewable projects. Al-Fanar is also acting, having its construction arm, and also the engineering service and the training and after sales service activities, testing and commissioning is part of the scope. This is a brief about our presence. Our main center is Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. In Saudi Arabia, we have a production center in Al Jubail. In the region, Dubai is our second production hub. International-wise, Al-Fanar is presented mainly in Europe, in Turkey, Germany, in Spain, and Italy. Such kind of expansion of Al-Fanar Group is come from development of the local business and extension of this business to the outside market through the acquisition, and we'll go to highlight our approach of development in the next slide. In Saudi Arabia, Al-Fanar, alhamdulillah, is one of key players in many of the electrical products, and in many sectors we are dominating the market. So when we speak about switches and socket, load centers, Al-Fanar is dominating majority of the market. Medium voltage systems, switches, transmission and distribution projects, Al-Fanar is having a reasonable market share. Testing and commissioning and the technical service, we almost having 25% of the market. This is just a brief about different products. This is quite technical, so we'll not spend a time here. So we speak about the renewable products and the renewable development, which is the main driver of and the main focus of Al-Fanar Group now, is how to adopt the industrial base of Al-Fanar and allowing it to be capable to go to the next wave of industry, which is focusing on sustainability and the green energy. So, as we explained, Al-Fanar development arm is focusing on to be as a developer, international developer and EPC, focusing in international markets to gain the experience and build the know-how, and localize such technologies in Saudi Arabia and in the region. This is how Al-Fanar development team is working and how the approach they are following. As a manufacturing, we are focusing on the acquisition for the products, renewable products. So Al-Fanar has completed the acquisition of a wind turbine generator of Sevenion. This is a German manufacturer of wind turbine, have a manufacturing base in India. So this is how Al-Fanar acquired it, and we are working in bringing the technology of manufacturing wind turbines to Saudi Arabia. The solar inverter and balance of system, we almost, we can say that we complete the upgradation of our balance of system products to fit for solar projects. And recently, we invest in the localization of string inverters to be the first product, local production line for string inverters in Saudi Arabia. Also, all of us see the plans of the kingdom related to e-mobility and the localization of EV chargers products is our current activity that we are bringing the technology from our company in Spain to localize the EV charger production in Saudi Arabia. As I explained, we have three pillars for making a localization. We are developing in-house through our development center. We are upgrading all the current product to fit for the renewable applications. As we are seeing here, this is what we call the balance of system and the PV skid solution, that it is a turnkey, made in factory, ready-made to plug to the PV panels in the site. Technology transfer through cooperation with different parties, and this is allow us to start the manufacturing of string inverters. And through our acquisition of Sevenion and ZIV, we are capable to bring the technology of wind turbine and EV chargers to be made in Saudi Arabia. This is just a brief about some success stories. Al-Fanar is completing in 2019 the first 50 mega project in Egypt. It was one of the first reference Al-Fanar created, and since this time we are participating in RIBDO projects and the different development project of solar. In Saudi Arabia, we complete two main projects, one in Hayel and one in Jubail, for captive consumption. This is 30 mega as well as 10 mega projects feeding for captive consumptions, feeding factories and powering the different loads in there, industrial loads. As many of you know about our industrial city, we have a plan to make our Al-Fanar industrial city to be a green industrial park. Means that CO2 footprint of these factories, we have a plan to reduce it until reaching to a zero footprint of CO2. In middle of Riyadh, Al-Fanar executing one of the main carport projects here in Riyadh. It was one of the success stories that Al-Fanar completed as full engineered products. In private banks, this is their data center where Al-Fanar is executing rooftop applications. For wind projects, Al-Fanar is complete 600 mega wind farm in India. Our first project was in Spain, where we developed 700 mega wind farm. And our scope was complete from the develop, finance, owned and operate. And recently, Al-Fanar is secure one of the iconic projects in UK. It is waste to fuel, where the biogas is produced from the waste processing is used to produce sustainable fuels for aviations. And this is 2.4 billion dollar investment Al-Fanar Group is taking care, and this has received a lot of securities from the UK government for executing it there. Recently, Al-Fanar received one of the, we are very proud about this project, where it is in Neom, what we call the Neom village, 5 villages. Al-Fanar is taking a complete development scope, and the part of this scope is solar as well as energy storage solution is there. So our involvement is a complete development. So Al-Fanar will develop and will supply a complete solution starting from the developing phase. Thanks for your time. Any questions? Assalamu alaikum.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sure.
So the question, first I would like to thank you for the insightful presentation, your engagement. Yes, as I was mentioning, thank you for the insightful presentation. Your engagement in the value chain of renewable energies, we can see it, and it's felt in every sector in it. So my question towards like your Al-Fanar company being an early adopter in the kingdom for installing these systems, I wish to hear your insights, like some general information about how these systems have been performing, because many people have the understanding that in Riyadh you can produce a lot of energy from solar, but maybe sometimes when it's dusty or something, the performance might be affected. Can you confirm that or not, or you say that it has been performing well? Thank you very much.
Yeah. Saudi Arabia is known for the harsh environment, and I think our colleagues from Desert Technology is giving a highlight about that. The most important criteria that has to be considered either in solar panel or related products of that connected to the PV generation is to consider the degradation impact and the dust impact on the product itself. When we are, as an electrical product manufacturer, we are testing the majority of our products up to 60 degrees, and we are making sure that from 55 to 60 degrees, the performance of the product is as designed and as planned. Of course, if it's 60 degrees, there is more than 60 degrees, there is a kind of protection that has to be activated inside the inverter, as example, to shut down the power of this and the circuits of this inverter to prevent the unit itself from starting burning, because after 60 you are entering to risky parameters of the product itself. When it comes to, as example, to the EV chargers, by the standard itself, you should not exceed 60 degree environment conditions. So the protection devices, again, inside your equipment has to be active when the sensing such kind of temperature, and start either reducing the delivered power, which we call it degrading, or shut down the unit and getting alarm to the end user about the performance. So yes, Saudi Arabia and the products here are operating under harsh conditions, but this means that the quality of it, the quality of the component, the quality of your IGBTs and the power electronics should be designed for that. As you design it, so it should perform without any issue.
Two questions. Thank you very much for the insight. First of all, Al-Fanar started producing inverters a year or so ago.
It is under commissioning now.
Okay, so you don't have any experience or track record yet?
We have installation of it inside Al-Fanar itself, our industrial city, and this is allowing us to see the performance of the product.
Okay, so when can we expect to see broader commercial sales?
Soon we are waiting our colleagues in SCC and Ministry of Energy to approve us, and we are coming soon, I can say that.
Inshallah, good
Very
luck
soon,
there.
yeah.
Second question, in terms of your sourcing of panels, how do you see things and what's your strategy? Do you see yourselves using locally made panels in the kingdom at least, or
yeah.
what do you see happening there?
Again, the project economy is the one judging anybody in this industry. There is a price, you have to achieve it, otherwise you are not in the project. So, but I totally agree with Mr. Muhammad from the Desert Technology about that. At least for a specific capacities of the project, we should deal with it separately. We as of today, the entire pricing, the entire policy, the entire competition, either for a utility scale project or for a commercial, even residential kind of projects, is the same. And the purchase policy is the same. So this is not fair, and this is not giving a bracing band for the local manufacturer of product like panels to actually found themselves and start the building their industrial capability. So in different countries, the policies is allowing for a certain size that a big competitor should not in. I mean, with the size of the project itself, only a limited number of competitors or a smaller capacity competitor is the one allowed to in and to compete until they building their capability. I hope that we can see something like that here. But I can say that the Saudi market for renewable, especially for PV, is one of the most competitive markets. Even this is quite surprising many of our partners. Everybody is expecting here that there is a margins that they have going behind it, but this is the situation. The Saudi market is very competitive, and this is healthy to the overall industry growth. I can say that.
Thank you for the informative presentation. When we speak about the renewable energy in different applications, there is always a lithium batteries next to it. Is there any plan for Al-Fanar to invest in this field? If yes or no, what's the challenges?
Yeah, okay. Of course, as Al-Fanar, we have a kind of roadmap for the project that we would like to focus on it. And we're giving a priority according to the growth of the market and the maturity of the market itself. This is how we adapted ourselves. We are not, this is our policy. We look to the market, work in it, then start looking to the technology and making the product. This is how we are following. Coming to the energy storage, yes, we are, as a product, part of our scope of inverter, we are producing the hybrid inverter. We have no production capabilities as of today for batteries and the energy storage. Have saying that we see some spots, projects asking for the energy storage, but I think this is linked more and more to the grid performance and like big sheaving and all of that special applications requirements. But as energy storage, there is no massive drivers to allow this segment to grow as of today. Comparing to Europe, if you look to the electricity cost itself, it is more feasible for the end user, the house owner, to store the excess capacity inside than utilizing it at the higher load side. Why? Because it is more feasible for him. It is more, he's having a more gaining of utilizing his excess power rather than injecting it to the grid. This is how the system is working there. In Saudi Arabia, still because of the tariff rates, because of the different schemes and the policies, we didn't see a real growth in this segment, especially for residential commercial application. For utility scale, there is a big project there, but it is a kind of a special project. It's coming for a specific requirements of, as I said, big shaving, harmonic reductions, and all of that kind of a special application.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for this very informative presentation. So you've mentioned that Al-Fanar is producing or will be producing EV chargers. Yeah. We can see there's a clear demand or clear future demand. We can see there's Seer and Lucid will start production very soon. So how soon do you think that EV chargers will be spread across Saudi Arabia? And because we can see there's many challenges in the US already with the production of EV chargers and how to apply them across different areas.
Yeah, this is, thanks for the question. If you ask me this question 3 months ago, my answer will be, we still study, we still see, but as of today, things is totally changed. I mean, what we recognize, there is a real movement in the market. All of this project, NEOM, Red Sea, is having a real plans for EV charging infrastructure. We was working and preparing ourselves over the last 2 years for this wave of e-mobility infrastructure technology to be in Saudi Arabia. Through the acquisition of our unit in Spain, they are a producer of EV chargers. They are covering a slow charging range of products. And we are building, based on that, a complete offer for slow charging as well as for faster charging. And alhamdulillah, we start receiving already an appointment for start delivering our products for one of the key projects in Saudi Arabia. So answering your question, EV is coming soon, and as usual, Saudi Arabia in the development scheme is very fast country. Other countries spend 10 years, 15 years to move, but in Saudi Arabia, what we have an experience for the smart grids and smart meters, that within few years the market is totally shifted to the new technology. So inshallah it will be one of the biggest growth segment in Saudi Arabia. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Zahid. With that, we would like to thank our speakers for today for sharing their knowledge and the audience, and we hope they benefited from today's session. Now, we would like to invite the Project Studies Director, Mr. Abdullah Sayari, to award the presenters today. We'll begin with the Muhandis Abdullah Qahtani. الأستاذ محمد العساف. الأستاذ هزاع الدعجاني. الأستاذ سيف ساهد. الأستاذ عبد الرحمن الغرير. المهندس إبراهيم الغسلان. والأستاذ عبد الله الصبيعي. نشكركم مرة ثانية أهل الحضور، وتشرفت بتقديم السيشن اليوم ماجد الدوسري. الله يحييك.